We're going to cross over to Toronto now. We're being joined by Ken Stone. He's with the Hamilton Coalition to Stop the War. Many thanks for joining us here on Press TV, Mr. Stone. Now, it is quite interesting to note that a lot of the allegations and rhetoric surrounding the use of chemical weapons by the Syrian government is quite similar to what we've seen happening in the wake of the Iraq invasion. How do you interpret that?
Well, I would say it's a bad case of deja vu. All the same lies, the same script that were used in the run-up to the war on Iraq are being used now again in the run-up to a possible war, a military intervention in Syria. The WMD line, the alleged ties of the target country to terrorism, and the turning of the leader of the country into a monster. That was done in Saddam Hussein's Iraq, and now it's being done against the regime of Bashar al-Assad in Syria. And the reason that the West is doing this is to create a pretext for a humanitarian intervention in Syria. It's because the people in the West do not want war, not in the United States, Canada, or anywhere in Western Europe. And so to sell this war, the Western countries and NATO, including Canada, have to create a pretext that the people of Syria are being abused by its own government, whereas in fact, the people of Syria are being terrorized by mercenaries that are hired by the West, and the people in the West, in order to support this military intervention, have to be shaken up. They have to be driven by hysteria, as in the case of the Boston bombing, and in Canada, as in the case of the alleged via rail train plot, into being scared enough to surrender to their governments the right to make these illegal wars. So I think that it's a very dangerous thing what that's happening about the allegation of weapons of mass destruction being used in Syria, and it's another step on the road to a possible military intervention in Syria.
Well, Mr. Stone, the U.S. is taking it a step further. It has said it will launch its own investigation as well, and also cooperate with a UN one. What do you think they're going to find, and how is this investigation going to be carried out to begin with?
Well, again, a case of deja vu. I remember Colin Powell appearing before the United Nations with circles and arrows on drawings and aerial photographs and satellite photographs and all kinds of evidence of weapons of mass destruction that never existed. And my fear is that the United States, through its allies, will manufacture a similar phony list of WMDs that were allegedly to have been used by the Syrian government. But in fact, I believe that the evidence shows that the incident of chemical weapons usage in Syria recently was done by the mercenaries at the behest of security and intelligence forces of Western countries. In other words, it's what's called a false flag operation, to make it seem as if the Syrian government did it. And it wouldn't surprise me if there were more such cases coming up in the future, and then again a repeat of the Colin Powell facade or charade at some United Nations forum. I think it cannot be trusted, and I think the people of the world need to watch out and oppose any intervention in Syria based on any evidence submitted by the Western powers. It's
okay,
phony.
We're going to have to leave it there. I'm afraid we've run out of time. That was Ken Stone with the Hamilton Coalition to Stop the War, joining us via Skype from Toronto. Many thanks indeed, sir, for your comments here on Press TV.